Hey y'all, it's Mells with Superficial Gallery, and welcome to episode 23 of 31 Days with the King. This is a short series dedicated to all things Stephen King, with a daily upload on one of his works. Now, we'll try our best to incorporate some of his most popular titles, as well as some of the ones that are lesser known or weren't as well received. So with that, let's get started with today's pick, and it is Salem's Lot. And I love this cover because you can see the Marston house there in the background and then Salem's Lot here. It's a very, very nice cover. So I do want to address that it's been a couple of days since I uploaded. Unfortunately, I got the fall bug and I did not sound that great. So I wanted to spare y'all with all of that. And so I am back to catch up on the series. And that was just a little aside to let y'all know where I have been for the past couple of days. Now, I picked Salem's Lot for episode 23 because season 2 of Castle Rock premiered on the 23rd. Now, the whole premise to season 2 was Misery Arrives, and our very first episode of the series, we did review Misery, which is about Annie Wilkes, and so far the season has been amazing. But I picked Salem's Lot because this time around we're going to get a really good look into Salem's Lot, which neighbors Castle Rock and is in Castle County, I do believe. And so I'm very, very excited about that, and that's why we chose that for today. Now, Salem's Lot is short for Jerusalem's Lot, and one funny thing I do find in this book as sort of a sly connection to Misery is that Jerusalem was a pig, okay? And we all know that Annie had a pet pig named, of all things, Misery. And if you have started watching season 2 of Castle Rock, don't worry, I won't spoil anything for you, but there are a lot of little references to pigs in the beginning, and I think that it's really cool because it's a little bit of a tie-in to both novels, in my opinion. So, of course, I'm going to also keep the book episode spoiler-free as well because I really think this is one that everyone should check out. It is trash. Just kidding. So you might be thinking, why would you say something like that? Well, there's a little forward in the book where Stephen King talks about his mother getting library books for him, and she would laugh and she would say, you know, this is trash. And he talks about how some of the novels were, in her opinion, trash in the sense that we would call it trash, but then also sort of a cute little nod to saying this is trash, which really meant that it's pretty good. So this is one of my favorite Stephen King novels. It is the second one that he wrote. Okay, so Carrie was first, then came Salem's Lot. Of course, you might have caught this, but Salem is just short for Jerusalem there, okay? So in this story, it is about a town that is kind of overcome with vampires. Now, not to get too deep into the meat of the story, the premise is a man returns to Jerusalem's Lot or Salem's Lot, and he has the intentions of writing a book about the Marston house. Now, the Marston house was made famous in the town. It kind of sits up on the hill and overlooks the town. And the previous owner did kill his wife and himself in the house, and so there's been a lot of lore around it being haunted, etc. And the author, Ben, had an experience in his younger days with the Marston house, so he returns to kind of write about that. And he strikes up a friendship with Matt, and he kind of gets into a romantic relationship with Susan, and then the story takes off from there. They start to realize that lights are on at the Marston house, and it looks like it's actually been bought or is being occupied, and come to find out it has been bought by a couple of business owners, and they are under the premise of using it as an antiques store, which I think is also kind of cool. A little tie-in to maybe Needful Things a little bit later on down the road for Stephen King. But anywho, the town does sort of become overrun by vampires, and I'll leave that mystery or how that happened up to you to read. Again, I highly, highly suggest that you check out Salem's Lot. It's an easy read in my opinion if you like to listen to it on audiobook. It is on Audible. I believe it's about a 15-hour listen. So a couple of days there if, you have that type of time to spare. But, hey, that rhymed. I didn't lose it when I got that cold. Huh. Anywho, so do check out Salem's Lot. Now, like I mentioned, it is sort of the set or the main town that is in season 2, Castle Rock, but there have been a few adaptations of this, and pardon me, I had to take notes because I honestly didn't realize there had been so many out there of Salem's Lot. Now, the most famous one, in my opinion, the one that I saw, it scared the bejesus out of me when I was younger. It came out in 79. It was a 2-part miniseries, and it was, to say the least, scary for its time. I thought it was a great adaptation. In 87, A Return to Salem's Lot, which was a sequel, came out, sequel to the miniseries there. In 2004, a new version of Salem's Lot came out on TNT. It starred Rob Lowe, and to be honest, I didn't even realize that was out there. I'm sort of ashamed to admit that. Now, in 2019, it was announced that a theatrical film would be made based on Salem's Lot, and I'm pretty stoked to learn about that. The 2 guys that are on this are Gary Doberman and James Wan. Doberman wrote the screenplay for It and It Chapter 2. There has been no release date information or anything like that on this film, so we'll keep our eyes and ears open and we'll report when we know more about that. Thank you again for joining me on episode 23, and I apologize for being a few days behind on my videos, but I promise that I won't cut you with the content. I'll still give you 31 episodes, so have no fear. Mel is here to the rescue. Now, I'll give you another look at the cover again. Unfortunately, in this edition, there is no photo of the king to admire upon, but I'll show you the cover again. And I'll try to do a close-up there of the town in the O. I just think it is really cool. I really like the ominous look of the Marston house in the background. So, do make sure you check that out. Like the video, comment below if you have read the book or if you've seen any of these adaptations. I'd love to hear from you. Make sure you subscribe to Superficial Gallery. Hit the bell to get notified when new content is published. We have a few days left in the month, and we are taking requests. We've got one more request on the books for this month. If you have something you'd like to see covered that hasn't already been done this month, you can comment that below as well, or you can tweet me at MellsBells84 out in the Twitter sphere. I'd be happy to include it in this series. I hope you all have a great night, and I'll be back to haunt y'all soon with another video. Bye. Aww.